Hey, welcome everyone. This is a podcast that explores various aspects of addiction, potentially focusing on personal stories of recovery, scientific perspectives, societal impacts, or related topics. This podcast often features discussions with experts, individuals in recovery, therapists, and advocates to offer insights and support to those affected by addiction or seeking more information about it. Welcome to another episode of The Other Side of Addiction. I am your host, Al Richards. And today, with our lovely guest, Lindsay Lee, we're going to be talking about embracing the light after darkness. This is actually a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Lindsay, thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to be on the show. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome, Al. I'm looking forward to it. I have been for a while, so this is really uh, just an honor to be here with you, Al.
Well, thank you so much. Well, I tell you what, it is an absolute honor to have you on the
Mhm.
show. You know, you and I have been friends for some time, and I got to know a little bit more about your journey about a year ago. So it's been some time, and it is so cool to see where you're at in your life right now. Because when we went on a hike with some other friends a while ago, and I had no clue, which a lot of us don't. I had no clue where your life was at that time, right? And I think a lot of us keep things secret from individuals. Sometimes we'll share with certain individuals. However, a lot of us don't really know what's going on because I kept my ex-wife's addiction under the rug for a long time. And that was actually one of the biggest mistakes I made because it was just tearing me up inside. So to see where you're at today after knowing what your past was like, man, it's so good. It's so good to see the glow in you and your beautiful smile and just see your personality coming out. And I believe that's what you mean by the testament of resilience of the human spirit, correct?
Correct. Yes. I mean, especially where so many times in that dark space, you remember the good things and the light where it was, and you want to be there so bad. And so I think a lot of that comes into play when you're in that space of not knowing and knowing and knowing the good things and being in the space where you are is so abnormal to you that you kind of get unbalanced at that point as well, just knowing that you can be strong enough to get through something, and realizing it and coming out of that darkness is just where I can't say how fast it happened for me when I did get the help that I needed. And when I did make that choice to go forward and wanting to change something, because again, in that dark space and in that unknown, I didn't know what to do. And what I was doing wasn't working. And I wanted to change. And so something clicked in me when I had some great family, reach out and give me some wonderful options of maybe what I could do, instead of what was happening. And I knew at that time I was strong enough to get back to that light that I remembered when I was young, and that I could, feel that again and feel myself again. And that was really important to me because I hadn't realized that in so many years, is that I could be happy and that I wasn't alone and that I could have room and space for myself and God, and take better care of myself. And once I realized that as well, I could not believe the feeling that came to me as fast as it did. As fast as I made that change, that choice, to listen to people that cared about me, that I to give me options that I didn't know I had, was 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 something so unreal, because I knew that I was loved still. Even though I was telling myself other things, I still saw the love in others for me, and I trusted them with everything, and I made my change. And you know I didn't think that I needed it as much as I did. I had no idea. Uh, Once I came away from what I needed to and realized what had happened, it literally like was there. It came back to me, and I knew that I could do it. I knew that I wasn't going back either. I knew I wasn't going to go back. Almost just within 2 weeks of doing multiple things and making wonderful choices, I knew inside in my heart that things would be different from that point on. And
Yeah,
here I am,
that that
almost
is
2 years later.
almost 2 years. So it's been that long. I didn't realize
Hmm.
it's been that long.
The end of June. Yes.
Wow. Because I
Yes.
lose track of time so easy. Something that I think that happened
Hmm.
like 3 weeks ago happened like 6 months ago. I don't know why my
Right.
brain works that way, but
Well,
yeah.
it does. I mean, I've even cut your hair before, years
Yes.
ago at my studio, which I did close. I moved on to another opportunity, which we can talk about later, but I happily closed that studio back in August, to move on to some other things. So it's been great.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So to go back, you knew that you was in a dark place and you knew that
Yes.
there was something missing. And I think I briefly caught it. I mean, you knew people on the outside loved you and cared about you,
Hmm.
which is a great feeling knowing that you have that. And I have just found in my own experience, when I was in some of my dark spaces, I felt like I was alone. I felt like I was the only one going through what I was going through. And
Yes.
to even really, I could share love and give love and kindness to other individuals. I couldn't give it to myself, and that was hard to deal with. At least it was for me. Did you find that same thing?
Oh, absolutely. I love doing things for other people, and making sure the family, everything. That was just my lifestyle, and I agree with you. You kind of move away from yourself. You separate almost from yourself and what you are wanting to do for yourself as well. You know what you want to do, but you're not there yet, and then you're thinking about that too, you know.
Yeah.
And so again, it's almost like I was always the last one ready to go anywhere because I was getting everyone else ready and everything ready. And, but that was my time issues that I had. So I definitely would do that better now. I know I would do things a little bit better. Not that that was always the thing, but yes, I was always doing everyone's hair and I was always getting everyone ready. So I was the last one ready. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that kind of a thing. When it's so different when I would work out of town and I would be by myself, it would just, things change, things would be different. So I did recognize that things, how things are at home and how things are when you're not there. That was something there. But yes.
Yeah.
So that difference. Mhm.
Did you feel, I mean, even though you knew that you wasn't yourself, did you feel though that you were putting on a pretty good facade per se to where others couldn't see it? And the reason why I asked that question is because I've done a lot of networking throughout the years, a ton of networking. I've got to
Yes.
know some amazing, amazing individuals, great, great people. And there was a time when people were approaching me, pulling me off to the side and asking me if I was okay. Like, yeah, I'm flipping great. Life is wonderful. And then I'd leave that group and I'd just be so exhausted, just drained. And it took me some time to realize I was so drained because I was putting on a fake facade. I was walking in to try to get everybody to see I'm still me. This is who I am. I've not changed. But in reality, people who really knew me, like your family, they could see that there was a light missing in Lindsay that she's always had, or it was very dim. We think we're faking everyone, and we're not.
It's so true. I know, and I can relate to what you're saying because, where you're saying, you would, well, okay, I get nervous going into the room. Like you go in and you do that and you show up and you network, and I get nervous before I get there, and I would work myself up before I would get there, because I knew I had to put everything aside before I get to work, before I get to these meetings. I would have to, meditate in my car and tell myself things, and I'd have a real hard time even just getting out of my vehicle. I'm a lot better at it now, but it's that part that I totally recognize. But then, yes, you're right. I'd get in there and things would change. I'd kind of, you're right. I would put something else on it, almost like go somewhere else in my mind to be ready, to be prepared for whatever meeting I was attending. And again, just to share something, just the other day, I was talking about the other side of addiction with a girl that assists me at my job. And she shared something with me saying how she could tell a difference. And I didn't even think that, she recognized anything because I work in a little lab in a room by myself, but now she's with me. But before, I didn't realize people saw how unhappy I was. She said, we always knew something was wrong, Lindsay. And I know I can testify to, right. I cried all the time. I was sad, but, I didn't think anyone really noticed because of where I was in my job, but people love you, they watch over you. I work with the most wonderful people now. And so again, for her to share that with me the other day, just to say, now to see you, she's, totally this different person with this light inside of you, this smiling, the energy, just that difference. I had no idea. Like you said, I had no idea. Like someone pulls you aside and they're like, are you okay? And you're going, well, yeah, because in your mind, you're like, I am okay here. I'm fine. I'm doing my job. I'm great, but you get on your own, or everything does kind of come back, and you do have to change and do things a little bit differently. But it's so interesting to hear it from other people, when someone, it throws you off a little bit, and then you're kind of going, oh my gosh, there are other people that care. They love you. They are there too, and they see it. But to hear someone tell me the difference was kind of fun, because I hadn't really asked her or said anything. But my mother shared with me too that while I was in recovery, a lot of people asked about me, and they were sincere. It was, they were really happy for me. They knew what was going on, and they were happy for me. And it was neat to come back and see everyone, and just have, it seems subtle at first, but it really is something so great, all the way to even your handwriting changing sometimes, like to just calmer, just nice, just, everything. I'm, things are a lot different now, Al. So it's just, timing is different. Life is more meaningful and happy. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And whew, I could get emotional even talking about stuff like this.
Right.
We are so blessed to have so many amazing people in our lives, right?
Right.
Because I look at it, they are the angels that's walking amongst us. They're helping us. Oh, they're helping us open our eyes a little bit more and start realizing we have other choices. I share the story every once in a while on the show. I went through anger management back in my mid-20s because I had a really terrible temper.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sitting down with my therapist once, and she had this piece of paper, and it was upside down. I could tell there was something on the other side. Some of it was dark, some of it was light. And she started asking me a bunch of questions, and she was doing everything she could to upset me. I pretty soon I felt my foot tapping up and down. I'm jumping up and down. I could feel my fist starting to double up. I'm starting to grit my teeth, and she's like, so how are you feeling? And I'm like, I'm feeling pretty freaking irritated right now. You're pissing me off. Why are you doing this? You're supposed to help me to where I don't understand, to where I'm not going to do this, right?
Right.
And she flipped this piece of paper over, and it had a dark side and a light side. And she goes, the dark side is the anger and the frustration, and the light side is not. Where are you right now? And I'm slamming my finger down on the table on that dark side. This is how you're making me feel. And of course, I'm blaming her, right? She's the one that's doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not taking my own accountability. And then she
Mm-hmm.
goes, well, how come you didn't choose this other side? That stopped me in my tracks. I mean, literally, my foot stopped. My hands come unclenched. I stopped gritting my teeth. I'm like, what? She goes, well, how do you like being over here? I'm like, no, that's why I'm coming to you to help me. Then why don't you choose over this way? what I'm trying to get at, we have these choices, but when we're
Mhm.
so lost inside our minds with everything that's going on inside our world at the time, I like to use the analogy, we're looking at life through a freaking straw. We're not
Mhm.
seeing the whole vision of life and where things at. And we get so caught up in it, we don't realize something is going to a recovery center, sitting down with a coach or a therapist or whatever, or family or good friends that go, hey, you're not alone and we can see you're hurting. Did you know there's other options out there? And then our light bulbs start going off. Seriously, there is? I mean, was that kind of like where you happen to be in your life, that you were just looking at life through that straw?
Oh, absolutely. I was I I was in such a place that I knew my options when they came to me. I knew that it was the only thing that was going to save me at that time in my life. My brother came to me and gave me some great options of recovery and care, which what he does for a living for others. And I love and trust him so much. I talked with another couple doctors and we made some decisions, and I had everyone come around me to to help me, to get me there, to show me the way, to guide me. and and I had to make that choice. I had to make the choice myself inside my head and my mind, if I really wanted something different in my life, if I wanted to make that change. And I'll never forget the morning I had to leave, and I was terrified. I was just terrified I was going to be gone. My life, everything was changing for I don't know how long. And I was really riled up, and my mom thought I was going to bail out, and I never thought I was that person. And here, I called her and I told her, and she was worried, and my brother said I'll be there at a certain time. He was there 30 minutes early, and all of a sudden something just came over me at my house, and it was like it's time to go. And my brother came, and he already had gotten my big bag and was waiting in his truck, and we were early, and that was odd for me too. I was early, but something switched, something stopped in me, and everything just got calm. And I just felt the spirit just tell me that it was time to go. Like, this is it. This is it. This is time to go. And that feeling at that point is really when I could not believe that I was okay just getting up in my brother's truck, saying bye to my son, my neighbors out there saying bye there. And I said, I'm going to go get happy. And I said it out loud when I left. And it was, it was amazing from that point on. Yes. I never gave up after that.
I'm writing down what you just said, because that literally brought tears in my eyes. Where you said, I am going to go get happy.
Mhm.
What an amazing statement to say.
Mhm.
I mean, we all want to be happy in life, right? And life, I like to say this way, life is going to throw us shit balls constantly, because that's what life does. But that's what helps us grow,
Mhm.
are these shit balls, and some we can dodge and others hit us square in the face, and it's okay. We gotta look at the lesson behind it and figure it out. Sometimes we can learn very quick. Other times it takes a little while before we figure out why that just happened to us.
Oh,
It,
everything was trying to stop me.
yeah,
Everything was trying to stop me from going. I knew it. Oh, I have goosebumps. Everything from the minute I made the choice, everything came at me to not go, to every excuse, but I still packed. I still showed up. I still got my job covered. My mom covered me. We were doing this. And so that's what I felt. That's when I felt power. That's when I knew, is because I was making these changes. These were big changes. These weren't just little things. I've never not worked. I've never not made food or clean the house or, taking care of somebody. And this was something out of my mind of what I would be doing. And so to know that I made that choice when I got there, I wasn't going to give up. And I was just wanting it to get brighter. It just, I already knew things were going to be good the minute I felt that spirit come over me again, because it wasn't always there. To me, I didn't always listen. And then I started to listen.
So,
And it's been
so it
good.
was always there. You just,
Hmm.
no, you just wasn't listening, right?
Right. It's been it was waiting for me for a long time.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
And so our listeners understand you can use recovery for different things. Because
Yes.
you did not go into recovery, which you went to Wasatch, and I know
Yes.
Wasatch, I'm very familiar with him, Mike Richards. I never did meet Jeff, but I know Mike, I
Okay.
know Todd Sylvester up there, who does all those guys do
Yes.
amazing work, right? My
Yes.
ex-wife went to Wasatch for,
Okay.
for some
Yes.
time, and you didn't go to Wasatch because of an addiction problem.
No, I did not. I was one of the rare ones there that did not go there for at that time, just for the groups that were there. So it was a little different for me. I did have to be in a category almost with all the other people there. But that was part of the whole thing, is getting along with others, but you're really there for yourself. I mean, reading through my journal, it was amazing what I would put my focus on. And I love that I stayed strong and I learned so much about myself, just again, because I was lost. I I got I got asked why I wasn't crying a little bit one day in group or something like that. Like I don't cry, I hadn't let out or something like that. And I said, you know what? I cried for like 12 years. I'm like, I came here and I'm like, I don't want to cry anymore. I mean, everyone just thought I was so crazy because I was like, I don't, I opened up that way. I mean, I really did. I cried for a long time. And then I'm like, I get here and I'm like, I'm feeling better. Aren't I supposed to be feeling better? I'm in recovery. I do. I feel better. I'm doing lots of great things. Feels great. So yeah, I was always like the odd one out almost. It was a good time. A lot of work, but
Yeah.
how fun.
And I wouldn't doubt, Lindsay, because you happen to be the odd duck in the pond, that you actually helped the other individuals that was there. I mean, that's just how I'm kind of picturing it. Knowing
Yeah.
you of what I know of you in a group setting, I'm seeing Lindsay sharing a part of her life that she's been struggling with and wants to get well, but also using that to help other individuals. Because again,
Yes.
most probably everyone there was there because of battling some type of an addiction.
Hmm.
Here's a person that's in a recovery center who's not battling addiction, but still battling life. And
Hmm.
that's exactly what everyone that's there is battling too. It's not basically the addiction, it's the life that's causing the addiction.
Right. Hmm. And so being all together, you do know that you relate. That's one thing. I was friends with a lot of them, and again, they say not to, be, you're there for yourself and everything, but you do have to get along with everyone, as best you can. And it really worked out for me. I kept myself busy like you're supposed to. I really did. The variety of people, it was good for me to be around them. I've been around addiction my whole life. So I've been to a lot of programs and seen a lot of things, and this was special to me. It was my turn. I never thought it would be my turn, and again, the variety of different experiences I got in there just from listening to other people and connecting with the other people, really helped me grow as well. It helped me remember what I do and don't want to do, and where I want to be, and where things are going to go. And just making these good habits every day just helped me survive. as well. I mean, I just got better and better so quickly making that change. It was, it was so fun to watch it in other people's eyes and my own children's eyes. I was looking in their eyes and they were listening to me, and I wasn't missing out on that. So it just, that brought so much more life back into my body, back into my soul, just being able to have my kids trust me and look at me and, see that I'm okay, that they can, that they can talk to me, like we can have great conversations.
Yeah.
So it's been amazing. And Wasatch really did help. I mean, that's a great place. And it was interesting, that's one thing we did talk about, is how you're so aware of all these different recovery places. You're such an outlet for people to get help and someone so good to talk to. Um, you know, as I felt very close to you once, I knew your ex had gone to those things, and, I felt like I could open up and talk. And it's just nice because that's one thing everyone does. And I wasn't really good at that. And I did do it, in my recovery, and I do a lot better job at, speaking and communicating. And before, where I would avoid things, I would definitely avoid things. And so it's nice to have the experiences now. That's what I can definitely testify to, is that, man, the experiences of your lifestyle is, just it's enlightened, it's just heightened to these levels that you were like, everything's gorgeous, look at this, look at that, you're just so happy. Everything's alive. It has a meaning and purpose.
Yeah. No, and you are 100% correct. After making the hard decision that I had to make to leave the relationship that I was in, I was with this gal 18 years.
Hmm.
And to pull away from it after even being there for so long, doing my best to be by her side to support her through her trials that she was going through, especially in the depths of it that was really, really dark. To pull away of something that is bringing your life into a dark place. I knew I did not want to go to that dark place again. And I
Hmm.
could see it approaching me very, very quickly. And when you're there and you've been in it at one time before, and then you've clawed your way out to get out of it, again, life has a way. And also, I like to say the opposition has a way to wanting to pull you back in that darkness.
Yes.
However, as long as you're keeping your mind clear and your mind focused, you see things a lot quicker now. And also you have these tools. And as hard as it was, I had to keep my boundaries. I had to pull away from it and to see where my life is to this point right now, right? I mean,
Right.
the people who have come in, I had a meeting this morning before doing this show, and my buddy and I was talking about there's no such thing as coincidences, and how
Yeah.
certain things have just kind of all of a sudden just shaped and come in. And I think when we open our minds and we allow life to just be life, I like to say my direction is God. I just follow God, whichever direction He's taking me. And I'm not talking God as a religion. I'm talking God as my spiritual, my person who I look up to,
Yes.
my higher power. I get to
Yes.
where instead of getting so uptight and using this up here to really ruin my day and screw up my day,
Hmm.
just go, okay, I don't know what's going to come of this. However, I know you got my back. I'm just going
Yes.
to keep going through and help direct me, help guide me. And it is amazing. I see the smile come on your face. It isn't amazing where life goes at that point. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I just I remember when I wouldn't even go there. I wouldn't have even thought to go there, to get that fulfillment of such love, such feeling of trust with myself with myself, being accountable for myself. I never thought, like in those dark times that I could do that. And so, yes, when I started to feel that, it's almost like I didn't ever want it to stop. Once you realize those little things, and that's why I was also sharing with you how I look at things differently too. It's so nice to be able to view things differently, to approach things in such a way that I'm just even happier doing them. There's not as much, there's not complaining, there's just happiness. Or it's just so fun when people ask me how I'm doing or what's up, and I'm just like, I'm fabulous, everything, I'm well, I'm still doing so great. I found the space where I'm happy, I'm organized, I'm doing such good things with my work, and I love what I do, and it is amazing work. And so it's just fun to move forward with it and to be so positive, because I know I want to be doing it for a long time. And I just enjoy it. I enjoy working with my mom. My sister also does the same thing. And so it's just nice to be more involved, to be more alive, to want to be with other people and to exchange instead of not showing up and not going to things. It's like now I love that I want to be there. I love being included and meeting new people, or just showing up to where maybe I was always late before and now I'm early. So, it's just kind of fun to do things a little bit differently, to have some happiness, and to, again, see it in other people when I'm with them, and especially my children.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm going to put you on the spot on this one. What do you feel was one of the biggest things that you took away from being at Wasatch?
Learning to take good care of myself. Because if you don't take care of your body and your mind, your spirit won't be there, as well as it could be. You have so much potential, and I found mine there again. I found who I was there, and I remembered who I was. I became me again. I feel like I did, and I don't even know how to explain that in some ways, except that having your spirit back inside and with you, and feeling alive again, and having this trust and hope, just you see your future, and where before I didn't really see one.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
you found that little girl. You found little Lindsay again, right?
Yes. I wish I had her energy, a little bit more of her energy, like physically. I still, push it. I love it. So yes. And, I mean, it's like, I love skiing. I love golfing. I love all the things that I'm doing, because my family is a part of it. My good friends are a part of it. And I love that I'm a part of these wonderful things that I have the opportunity to experience. I mean, I just take it all in. I love it. Especially when I do look at some things that I was like before, and things that I did before, and where I sat before and where I am now. I just, it's hard to believe it's been almost 2 years. It's like, oh, what changes I made 2 years ago when I was so scared and everything. And now it's like, are you kidding? It's like, look where you are now. This is fabulous. You're happy. You live this, lifestyle that is completely different. And that's what you wanted. It's like, that's what I was crying about all the time. So, I don't have much, I am so grateful for my blessings and where I am. And, listening to even your story inspired me, because, it is so hard too when a spouse, has issues too, and you've got to still stay yourself, and not take on what someone else is doing, especially your own spouse. So again, pushing through that, and, figuring things out, and being accountable for my own actions and whatever I was doing in my life, really helped me just wake up, because I don't believe I was, taking accountability before. And whereas now I definitely make the choices, to take care of myself.
Yeah.
I mean, all the way down to eating. You got to eat. That's one thing too that, they taught me, and I did take away from that, but I'm still working on doing that a little bit better. It's like, just little things like that sometimes. So it can
Yeah.
be a lot of different things, to keep practicing every day, all those little things. So it's just fun. Um, it's fun to realize that life is so different. Um, and it just makes me so happy to share it. That it's so possible when here I didn't think things were possible. I was, doing so many other things that were not good for me. And now I don't do any of those things.
Yeah.
It's just such a different lifestyle.
Well, it opens our mind in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
And I hope a lot of our listeners understand, and I believe that they do. You've heard Lindsay talk about taking care of herself and looking after herself, and I'm doing the same thing, and a lot of the people, and probably in our same circle, I wouldn't doubt in a minute that a lot of people that we both know, all in the same circle, it's not selfish to think of ourselves first, because
Hmm.
we cannot share the positive things with other individuals that's in our life, whether it be family or friends,
Yeah.
unless it's within us ourselves. Because we can't actually give true love to a partner, to our kids, to family members, to friends, if we don't have that true love for ourselves.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying that we don't still love them, but I don't think
Right.
we can admit the love as strong or as strongly as we possibly could unless it's within us right here first. And to me,
Hmm.
that's where all this comes in to be such an amazing journey, because if you go back, I'll throw a Steve Jobs thing at you. Steve Jobs said if you connect the dots backwards and go backwards and then by going looking at your life backwards, you'll see you're exactly where you're meant to be right now.
Yes.
And my friend Nicholas Smith brought that up in an interview I was doing with him at the studio one time, and I really started thinking about it. And it's so right. Everything that I have been going through all these past umpteen years, especially the last almost 15 years, has led me to be right where I'm supposed to be right now on my journey of life. And what is so cool about it now, and this because I'm seeing it in your actions, I'm seeing it in your face. It's the excitement of what's going to happen next. Instead of the dread, right? Instead of,
Yes.
another day, right? It's the excitement of what is today going to bring me? And then you wake up the next morning and go, my gosh, what's going to happen today? Instead of going, what shitstorm is going to happen to me today to life, right? I mean, we look
Yeah.
at it
I'm
in
like,
so
I
many
get another day.
yes, we get another
Yay.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I didn't used to do that, and now I wake up early and I'm up, and I go to sleep. Like, I didn't sleep most of my life. Like, we talk about this with my ex and my family. Like, I just was not a sleeper, and now I'm like, I go to sleep. And so that's another thing I took away, from recovery, is I learned to sleep. And man, I think I'm still making up for it. I feel I'm like, oh, I'm good to fall asleep. Like, I love it. I can't wait to fall asleep sometimes. But it's not like that bad. I'm just saying, before, like, I'd be up all the time. And you understand, like, it just was a lifestyle almost of not sleeping.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
Well, we become addicted to the addiction, right? Your addiction
Yes.
was different. Your
Yes,
addiction was unhappiness, and
it
you
was
became addicted to that addiction.
lifestyle. Yes, it was.
Yes.
I totally. It's like we say that we get addicted to these things, even if it's not happy, even if it's not good. Obviously, you're just addicted to that. It becomes that repetitiveness that you just have to get out of.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
life just, I don't know, life just seems to change. You said it earlier in the show. within a couple weeks of being at Wasatch, you felt a huge shift in you.
Hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. See, I get emotional talking about it because it happens so quick. It
It
really
did.
does.
My mom even said so, and she was like, I just could not believe it. She goes, one week I could see that you were different, but by the second week I knew. She goes, I knew my girl was back. She goes, I knew you were coming back
Yeah.
and that I hadn't lost you. And just to hear my mom say that, I'm just reminded of where she was and how she was feeling about me during that time. And so again, I even wrote it in my journal. After 2 weeks of being there, I knew I wasn't going to go back to where I was. I knew that that was changing. And so even from that early on in recovery, I knew that I wasn't going to go back to my same house. I had made those decisions and I was going to make other arrangements. And so it made it almost easier for me to make all those changes just even faster and to move, in such a confident way in recovery. I don't know how else to say it except I really was happy. I wish my kids could have been there. I was like, they need this, everyone can use this. Like, take some time, and for yourself and figure it out, change your lifestyle, feel better. It's possible. And I was just wanting everyone, in my mind. I was just, thinking, gosh, I'm feeling almost bad sometimes that my kids weren't, here experiencing, the therapy and the people that care so much for others. But I wanted to pass it on. And I knew that I could by just taking care of myself and following through with things and showing them that, you know, life can change and you can be different and you can be happy. You can feel good. You can make great choices. You can decide for yourself on things and you can feel good about it. You can trust yourself and, things are going to be great and then they just get better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
it's just been more and more exciting.
it goes back to the resilience of the human spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's proven in history, thousands and thousands of years, right? When we learn how or figure out how to shift ourselves,
Yes.
life completely changes into a whole different realm. It's almost like we stepped out of one world and went through the porthole into a whole different world.
I know that's how I feel like when I talk about it, the past, sometimes I feel like that. Like, who was that?
Yeah.
Who did she really do that?
Yeah, right.
Yes. And how easy it is to, see the difference now.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
great.
and something you just said here just a second ago too, how your mom saw this difference in a week and then definitely in the 2 weeks. To me, that is a proven fact of us not realizing it, how bad we really are hurting the ones that we love and we care about.
Hmm.
Because the ones that love and care about us, when they see our pain, we're putting that pain on them
Right.
as well. And we don't realize it. Because I remember so many times in the depth of my ex-wife's addiction, when I'd be talking to her, not in a nice way, I would have to admit, because I was so angry. And I got this all the time. I don't know what the hell you're so worked up about because I'm not hurting anybody but myself. And it wasn't until after she got sober to where she realized the damage she was doing to the people who really cared about her. When
Right.
all they wanted to see is the best for you, right?
Hmm.
And
Right.
we have friends that do their best to, I don't like using the word should. I don't think people should on people, if that
Right.
makes sense. However, but we know when we have ones that are really there for our best interest and
Yes.
to see your family step up and put their arms around you and embrace you and say, hey, we can see you're hurting because we're feeling that hurt. What can we do
Hmm.
to help you?
Yes. Oh
So
man, my family, they just put a plan right together. My brothers, my sister, everyone, we all just came together with such a great plan and everyone felt good about it. And the unbelievable support to get to my recovery was and is something that I'll never forget or never be ungrateful for. I don't expect anything less from my family. They are my angels here on earth. And we grew up so close, and it's never gone away as adults, all my siblings. And my parents, I'm the closest to them. They're my best friends. I talk to them the most. It is just unbelievable how you're right. You don't know sometimes until you have recovered a bit, and you look back and you're like, oh wow, that was intense. That was miserable before, and then look what just came shining through to help you. Here,
Yeah.
look at all of these blessings for you. Do you want them? It's like, okay, the one time, yes, you know what? Let me go that route and check that out, because really when you're surrounded by all of that love, you can only feel that love, and that's just going to expand.
Yeah.
It's going to expand, and now it can't go away. It's there to stay. And I find that I have love in all that I do. Like my choices that I make, do I love it? Do I want to do this? Is this something, I know there's things we've got to do, but I find the best in it now. Even those little mistakes, or dropping something, breaking something, I clean it up easier. I'm more patient. I take the time to, be calm and breathe, and just, take care of what needs to be done, and keep going, help others,
Yeah.
follow through with what I feel I'm doing so well at right now. And of course, there's still times where, you need to still talk some things out, and you got to work some things out. But what's wonderful is I still have the spirit with me where, I just can't deny how wonderful I feel, compared to where I know I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and having
So,
people in your circle, good family, good friends,
mhm.
and you just said it, having that spirit with you, you're never alone. So even if you're
Yes.
away from family and have no cell phone service, no way to call or talk with somebody, you still have that person that you don't need a cell phone with, and that's your spirit, right? Because you can still talk to that individual going, help me get through this, whatever it is
Mhm.
that's happening, and you'll get through it. I mean, seriously,
Right.
you will make it through.
Sure. And before, I wouldn't take those steps. I think I would just, I would definitely make other choices before realizing how easy it was. Like you said, the papers, the dark and the white one, the happier than not. It's like it is so easy just to choose the happy thought, or to choose this happy instead, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, because that does feel better.
Yeah.
And why not?
And why not? Yeah, exactly. Why not? Well, I would think now, I don't know, I've never really golfed with you, but I've had friends that's golfed with you, and I heard you're a pretty good golfer, and I've seen some of your little videos.
Yes.
Have you found that your golf game has gotten better since you're in a different realm, a different happiness?
I'll Absolutely. And you know what? I've been pretty shy about this since it's happened, but you know what? That season after that I got out of recovery, I won my club championship.
Congrats.
Thank you. So it was, yeah, my little thing that, I didn't go out to do it. My game was on last season. I'm telling you, it was just whoo. And I never played better in my life. And then the day that I won, I had no idea. I didn't go there to win. I didn't know you could win money. I didn't even really know what flight I was in at the time. And then when they called my name and I saw like my score, and I was just looking at it, I was like, no way, no way. And so I just, I've gotta give, kudos to just changing my attitude, changing my lifestyle to, playing a great game of golf. And I'm sure enjoying it. I'm involved with a lot of things with that. I do my own podcast as the founder of our Girls Go Golfing group. So it's it is definitely something I love doing. We just put on a tournament. Girls Go Golfing, just me and my girlfriend for 16 ladies, and it turned out amazing. And I love bringing people together. I love having groups that, there's just this great vibe, and everyone is there to have so much fun, and they're just feeling this great energy, and they all wanted to pre-register for our next event. And it just was this great turnout, and I just love being involved with these good experiences in my life, like just happy things. And yeah, the golfing, you were supposed to be on our team actually for the Murray event.
Yeah.
You're like,
I-
Dwight was talking about it, and I was
yes,
like, what? Play with Al? I'm like, okay. And
yep.
so now I still don't know who's on the team, but I think I'm still on there. And so anyway, I was kind of looking forward to that, but maybe that can happen sooner or later. I sure go a lot. So if you want, maybe Dwight would like to go out for a practice round if you're interested. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
would be kind of
definitely.
fun.
Definitely,
Yeah.
please. Later in the afternoons are best for me just because of my work. And
Yeah.
Matt hit me up about a week ago on it.
Hmm.
And he said, yeah, Dwight's team is probably looking for someone. And I reached out to Dwight and I says, well, what day is it? And I'm like, oh crap, that's on a Friday.
I
And,
know.
and then he reached out, he texted me and he says, hey, we could really use you if you're interested. And I mean, I would love to be out there with you guys. And I looked and I went, I've already got a show scheduled. And
Yeah.
so I need a
It
little
makes sense.
more advance.
Well, right. We'll just go casual, no tournament. Do you know what I mean? We'll just
Yeah, yeah,
easy, one early morning or something, or like afternoon, like you said, we'll figure it out.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I'd
but it's just,
enjoy it.
again, yeah, just to do these kind of activities though, I mean, that's one thing you have to be a part of, in your life, is just doing things and keep moving on and doing stuff you love and have fun with, and with other good fun people, and just live to the fullest in your best life, you know?
Yeah. Well,
So,
and bringing people together, right? Like you said, because
mhm.
you really enjoy that. And that's one of the things I've enjoyed about networking. And it's crazy because I started my own networking group up last February. And
Okay.
and I had a friend that was helping me and it was a success that it slowly started kind of dwindling out. And I was working two jobs at the time, plus my podcast
Hmm.
was I was doing the Healing Utah Success Summit. And I just didn't put in the effort that needed to be put in it. And this year, my gosh, even by the end of last year, my spirit was talking to me heavy, going, you need to get it going, you need to get it going, you need to get it going. I realized I could not do this alone. And
Okay.
I prayed about it, and these names started popping up. And I went out and I spoke to my friend Caitlin and Rachel, who do breath work, sound bathing. I talked to my new friend I just met like 3-4 months ago, Jessica. She's freaking amazing. She's certified in all kinds of different things, and she's all about feeding the brain healthy nutrition and all this stuff. And
Nice.
she said yes. I talked to my friend TJ Hansen, and she does massage and different nerve therapy, and she said yes. And then Charles Piggott all of a sudden reached out to me and says, I've been out of the recovery community for a while. I need to get back. Do you know anything? And I'm like, yeah, I'm starting my networking group back up. So now he's
Oh, there
on
you
it.
go.
So May 8th, is going to be our first one. And we're just going to be bringing people in who fall underneath the addiction umbrella, which is pretty much
Okay.
everything, right? It's
Hmm.
mental health, trauma, recovery centers,
Oh,
um,
that's wonderful.
meditation, yoga, fitness. I mean, nutrition, all of it fits. And to be able to bring this group of people together and build, because I have realized if Mark Richards, the owner of Wasatch, goes to a networking group that's about recovery, he will probably know everyone there who owns a recovery center because they all
Hmm.
know each other.
My brother's one of them.
So your brother's one of them.
Hmm.
Now,
Hmm.
there's nothing out there that I know of that is in the recovery community where you do a networking group where you're bringing in outside resources because there's so
Hmm.
many other tools out there for individuals to help them in their journey.
hmm No,
And
I agree because my brother has to travel to go to those networking meetings. He has to travel to all over to go do those networking meetings for the mental awareness because they educate first responders on mental illness and things like that and recovery. So,
Mhm.
and I know he has to go out of town a lot to do that. How wonderful it would be to have that here in state, locally, and have that group be here.
Yeah,
That is amazing.
so people can see what's out there, right? And they
Right.
know what's there, and just to network, just to socialize and talk with people, to learn
Oh,
more.
yes. Well, even, all their softball, everything that, that they do so many activities all the time, but it's just, this would be something even, nicer to have, like you said, of networking, like people can just show up to, you know, get ideas even for others, to help other people, to help their own families, I mean, because
Yeah,
that's mostly where it starts too,
yeah,
is families wanting to help their loved ones and friends.
yeah, absolutely. You
Wow,
just
that's
gave me a
amazing.
really good idea, Lindsay, so thank you. And
You're
that was to
welcome.
reach out to our first responders.
Yes.
I think that would
hmm
be a great networking thing for them, the ones that are off shift that day, to go and learn what's out there. What a benefit it would be for them and their families.
Oh, well, right. And especially when they're getting educated, on how to handle mental illness and addicts as well, so that they know where to send these people for help instead of directing them in the wrong way, or, and not unknowingly putting them maybe where they're not going to get the help that they need.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
because a
So,
lot of the ones that I've known from the West Jordan Police, where I live now and where I've grown up, some of have retired. Well, almost all of them. Gosh, the chief of the fire department's retired. The chief of police retired.
mhm.
So I don't know too many people there anymore, but I do know a lot of the city council. So I guess I could reach out to them to see if they could
That'd
help
be
me get my
amazing.
foot in the door to invite these people to these events like that. Yeah.
Yes. Wow. That sounds like that would be a success.
Well, it was the first time we held it, and there was some things that happened during the event that I think kind of turned some people off.
Uh-huh.
And I'm making doggone sure that does not happen again. It's
Okay.
no selling. I don't want any selling at this event. It's let's come in, let's
hmm
build relationships, let's help one another grow, and
Right.
we'll all get something out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people want to attend things like that, so it'll
Yeah,
be good.
absolutely. Well, Lindsay, first off, how can someone can find how do they find your podcast?
Well, why don't you tell them, Al?
Why don't I tell them? No, I want you to tell them. I know you. I've watched a couple of your guys'
Oh,
episodes.
my podcast.
Your
Oh my
podcast.
goodness.
No, yeah, not
It's
mine.
on
I want you to
Apple.
promote yours.
Oh my gosh, for Girls Go Golfing, you're so sweet.
Yes.
Mostly we post it on the Girls Go Golfing Facebook page, or Jan, I think she'll post it on Apple.
Okay. And it's Girls
So
Gone Golfing, right?
no, just Girls Go Golfing.
Girls Go Golfing. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because I've
And
I've
I'm
watched a few of your episodes. You girls have a blast. You guys have a lot of fun.
we do. We have so much fun. In fact, we're probably going to go this afternoon, so it'll be great. And we're
Well,
going Sunday too. We have like a standing tea time at Old Mill every Sunday, so we have a blast. We're going to do 8 girls this season every Sunday. So
that is cool. So if I
yeah.
shave my legs, do I qualify?
No, you know what? I was just going to ask you. If you want to? I'm going to use you as a backup if we need someone. I'm going to throw you in the loop and see. But it's okay if you can't. Just let me know. But I might ask you a couple times this season to go.
Yeah, I would love to, as long as I have a little bit of a notice, because
You
hiking
got it.
season's coming up, so I'm going
You're
hiking.
right.
And then
Okay.
Sundays are usually best for me. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
definitely. And it sucks because in the last 2 years I've only been golfing 4 times. I went
Okay.
twice last year and twice the year before, and I went out with our friend TJ Menlove. He invited me,
Oh
um,
yeah, I saw
and
that.
my gosh, it takes me a few holes to kind of get back into the swing of things again, because I've not gone. Plus, my shoulders have gotten worse from my injuries. However,
Okay.
once I get them loosened up, then they start feeling a lot better. I'd love to get out more this year. I plan on doing more hiking and more golfing this year.
Well, and golfing's such a fun environment. It's always usually beautiful, you know, and you're just in a beautiful place.
Yes, that is for sure. Okay, so Girls
All right.
Go Golfing, that's how they can find it.
Yes.
And that's Facebook.
Yes.
Okay. I will put that on the notes so people have that just in case.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else you would like to share before we sign off?
Well, I just want to thank you for what you do for everyone and for the other side of addiction and the opportunity to be on this fabulous show. It feels good, and I was kind of nervous at first, but you really make things nice, and I appreciate it. You're right, it's neat to share, it's special, and everyone's story is different, and I just appreciate you, being so understanding and with me being nervous a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because it was great.
And thank you, Lindsay, for taking time out of your morning seriously to be on the show. And something that I really enjoy the most about the show is I get to sit down with some amazing people every single week, and I get to hear
Yeah.
their stories, and I get to hear their journey, and they're helping me grow. I mean,
Yeah.
every single guest has helped me grow in one way or another. And that's what's amazing about all this, right? When we get to help each other, and you've cut the chain, your old chain, and you've started collecting some new links. It's the links of love. You're starting a whole new thing, and I tip my hat off to you and say congratulations to you for recognizing that you wanted your life different and you knew a change needed to be made. It says a lot about you as an individual and as a person. And I'm blessed and honored to call you friend. I mean, I really am. So thank you again.
Thank you, Al, so much. Happy to be
Absolutely.
here.
Cool. Thank you. Well, thank you guys. Thank you all our past guests and just everyone. Thank you so much, especially our listeners. Again, this show wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for you guys. And I'm going to share something real quick before we sign off. I've been keeping a little secret from everyone pretty much since the beginning of the year. And I'm going to let the secret out. There are a few people that have known about this, but since about the beginning of the year, I've actually been in training, and I passed the test a week ago. I am now considered an internationally certified crisis and recovery coach. So this whole journey has now taken me to a whole different world. So if you guys know of anybody, let me know, because I need to do a lot of practicing to help me hone my skills. And I'm offering some really, really good packages right now at a very, very low price. Just to sit down with you. It doesn't matter if it's an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. We'll work it out. I'm not charging by the hour, so you guys don't have to worry about that. But again, if I can help you, you would also be helping me. So,
Wow.
guys, I just want to say thank you to everyone. And remember, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. We're out.